The long now, planning for humanity's next 10,000 years. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast desert, staring at a clock designed to tick for 10,000 years. Its gears grind slowly, marking not hours, but centuries. This is the clock of the long now, a real project by the Long Now Foundation, built to challenge how we think about time. But why 10,000 years? And what would it take for humanity to not just survive, but thrive across such an unimaginable span? Picture this. A child born today might witness the year 2100. Their great-great-grandchildren might see 2200. But 10,000 years? That's 400 generations from now. Civilizations that don't yet exist will rise and fall. Technologies we can't imagine will be invented, perfected, and forgotten. Yet here we stand, at this pivotal moment in 2025, holding the power to shape that distant future. Today we embark on a journey to answer, how do we plan for humanity's next 10,000 years? 10,000 years ago, our ancestors were carving the first tools, planting the seeds of civilization in the Fertile Crescent. Since then, we've built empires that touch 3 continents, split the atom to harness the power of stars, and touched the lunar surface with human hands. But the next 10,000 years, that's a timescale that dwarfs our lifespans, our governments, even our oldest myths and religions. To plan for it, we need to think bigger, beyond the next election, the next gadget, the next century. We need to become stewards of the deep future. Section 1. Historical context. The fragility of forever. History is humanity's greatest teacher about longevity, and its lessons are sobering. Let's play a game of time. The Roman Empire, which seemed eternal to its citizens, lasted roughly 500 years in the West. The Library of Alexandria, humanity's first attempt at universal knowledge storage, burned multiple times before finally crumbling. Even the mighty pyramids, built explicitly to defy time itself, stand today as hollow monuments to forgotten pharaohs whose names we can barely pronounce. But here's what's fascinating. While empires crumble and cities turn to dust, some things transcend time. The Epic of Gilgamesh, humanity's first great story about mortality and friendship, still moves us 4,000 years later. Mathematical concepts discovered by ancient Greeks still power our computers. The philosophical questions posed by Plato and Confucius remain as relevant today as they were 2,500 years ago. What makes some human creations timeless while others fade? The answer isn't just in the materials, it's in the ideas. Stone erodes, but stories adapt. Languages die, but concepts migrate. The secret to long-term survival isn't just building stronger walls, it's creating more resilient ideas. Consider the pace of change. It took humanity 300,000 years to develop agriculture, then 10,000 years to reach the Industrial Revolution. But in just the last 200 years, we've gone from steam engines to quantum computers. The last 50 years alone have brought us the internet, genetic engineering, and artificial intelligence. We're accelerating through technological epochs at breathtaking speed. This creates a paradox. Our tools evolve faster than our wisdom. We can edit genes but struggle with genetic inequality. We can connect every human on Earth but can't agree on basic facts. We're approaching godlike powers with all too human limitations. As the futurist Stuart Brand, founder of the Long Now Foundation, puts it, we are as gods and might as well get good at it. Section 2. Core scientific facts and dilemmas. The engineering of eternity. Let's get specific about survival. What are the actual threats to humanity's 10,000-year journey, and what solutions might exist? Climate and environment. The 2024 Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change reports that without aggressive intervention, global temperatures could rise 3 to 5 degrees Celsius by 2100, triggering cascading ecosystem collapses. But here's the 10,000-year perspective. Ice ages cycle roughly every 100,000 years due to orbital mechanics. Even if we solve climate change, our descendants will face natural climate upheavals that make our current crisis look modest. Solution? Planetary engineering. Technologies like atmospheric processors, ocean thermal management, and even solar radiation control could give us godlike power over Earth's climate. But wielding such power responsibly requires institutions that think in geological time. Cosmic hazards. National Aeronautics and Space Administration tracks over 28,000 near-Earth objects as of 2025, but only discovers about 3,000 new ones each year. We're essentially flying blind through a cosmic shooting gallery. The Chicxulub asteroid that ended the dinosaurs was 10 kilometers across. A similar impact would reset human civilization to zero. The good news? Unlike the dinosaurs, we can see them coming. Projects like NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test mission have proven we can deflect asteroids. But true planetary defense requires a space-based infrastructure that could take centuries to build, exactly the kind of long-term thinking the Long Now Foundation advocates. Energy and resources. Here's an uncomfortable truth. If humanity grows at just 1% annually for 10,000 years, we'd need 10 to the 43rd power times more energy than we use today. That's more energy than our sun produces. Either we find ways to radically decouple growth from energy consumption, or we need to harvest stellar energy directly. Enter the Dyson swarm, not the solid sphere of science fiction, but a cloud of millions of solar collectors orbiting a star. Physicist Freeman Dyson calculated that dismantling Mercury could provide enough material for a swarm capable of capturing a significant fraction of the sun's output. It sounds like fantasy, but it's actually feasible with technologies we're developing today: self-replicating robots, solar sail propulsion, and asteroid mining. Knowledge preservation. Here's a problem most people never consider: digital dark ages. Right now, we store more information than any civilization in history, but it's all trapped in formats that might be unreadable in decades. Try opening a file saved on a 1990s floppy disk today, if you can even find a disk drive. The Long Now's Rosetta project addresses this by laser etching microtext onto ultra-durable disks. Each disk contains translations of over 1,500 languages, designed to be readable for thousands of years. But language is just the beginning. How do we preserve scientific knowledge, cultural wisdom, the hard-learned lessons of democracy and human rights? Some propose quantum storage, information encoded in the quantum states of matter theoretically permanent. Others suggest biological storage, using deoxyribonucleic acid as a hard drive. Your genome already stores 3 billion base pairs of information. Synthetic biology could expand that capacity to store entire libraries in a grain of sand. Section 3. Philosophical and ethical aspects, the soul of the Long Now. Now we venture into deeper waters. What does it mean to be human across 10,000 years? This isn't just an engineering problem, it's an existential one. The consciousness conundrum. Imagine this scenario. It's the year 3025 and death has become optional. Your consciousness can be uploaded to a quantum substrate, your memories perfectly preserved, your personality intact. The upload process is seamless. You fall asleep in your biological body and wake up in a digital realm. But here's the question that's haunted philosophers for decades. Is the digital you really you, or just a copy that thinks it's you? This isn't academic philosophy, it's practical ethics for the Long Now. If we achieve digital immortality, we could have humans who remember the 21st century still alive in the year 12,025. They'd be living libraries, witnesses to 10,000 years of human experience. But are they the same consciousness that originally lived, or sophisticated simulations? The philosopher Derek Parfit argued that personal identity is an illusion. What we call you is really just a continuous stream of experiences. From this view, an uploaded consciousness is as valid as the biological original. But others, like philosopher John Searle, insist that consciousness requires the specific biological substrate of the brain. Think of the pharaohs. They built elaborate tombs and mummified their bodies, believing they could cheat death through preservation. Were they naive or visionaries ahead of their time? Today's tech billionaires funding cryonics and consciousness uploading might be the modern pharaohs, using silicon instead of stone to pursue immortality. The artificial intelligence partnership paradox. By 2030, many experts predict artificial general intelligence will match human cognitive abilities. By 2040, it might surpass us entirely. Over 10,000 years, the gap could become unimaginable, like the difference between humans and insects. This presents a fundamental choice. Do we enhance ourselves to keep pace, merge with artificial intelligence, or accept a junior partnership role? Each path has profound implications. Enhancement through genetic engineering or brain-computer interfaces could create superhuman capabilities, but might also create new forms of inequality. Merger with artificial intelligence might preserve human agency, but at the cost of human identity. Accepting artificial intelligence superiority might ensure survival, but could reduce humans to pets in an artificial intelligence-run zoo. The diversity imperative. Here's a radical thought. Maybe the question isn't whether to preserve humanity as it is, but whether to preserve humanity's potential to become many things. Over 10,000 years, some humans might remain biological purists, others might become cyborg hybrids, and still others might exist as pure information. This diversity could be our greatest strength. Biological humans might maintain our emotional wisdom and creative intuition. Enhanced humans might serve as bridges between natural and artificial intelligence. Digital humans might explore realms of thought impossible for meat-based minds. The key is ensuring all forms remain recognizably human in their core values and connections. Section 4. Governance and Social Evolution. Institutions for the Ages. Democracy emerged in Athens 2,500 years ago, and we're still perfecting it. But democratic institutions struggle with long-term thinking. Politicians focus on election cycles measured in years, not centuries. How do we govern for 10,000 years? Time-binding institutions. The Long Now Foundation proposes time-binding mechanisms, institutions explicitly designed to think across generations. Imagine a Senate where membership lasts 50 years, or constitutional courts that must consider the 500-year implications of their decisions. These aren't radical ideas. Many indigenous cultures already practice 7-generation thinking, considering the impact of decisions on descendants 7 generations in the future. But we could go further. What about representational democracy that includes future generations? Philosophers like Samuel Scheffler have proposed future persons representatives, advocates whose job is to speak for the interests of humans not yet born. It sounds abstract, but consider climate change. The people most affected by our carbon emissions haven't been born yet. They have no vote, no voice, no representation in decisions that will shape their world. Artificial intelligence augmented governance. Artificial intelligence offers both opportunities and dangers for long-term governance. Artificial intelligence systems could model the long-term consequences of policies across centuries, helping human leaders make more informed decisions. They could maintain institutional memory across generations, preventing the loss of hard-won wisdom. But artificial intelligence governance also risks creating technocratic tyranny. Who programs the artificial intelligence advisors? Whose values do they represent? How do we ensure they remain accountable to human interest across millennia? Section 5. Future Scenarios, 3 Paths Through Deep Time. Let's imagine 3 possible paths for humanity's next 10,000 years, each reflecting different choices we might make today. Scenario 1. The Symbiotic Garden. In this timeline, humanity chooses partnership over dominance. By 2100, we've mastered fusion energy and developed artificial intelligence as collaborative partners rather than competitors. Climate change is reversed through a combination of technology and restored ecosystems. Cities become vertical forests, with architecture that enhances rather than replaces nature. By 2500, we've spread to Mars, Europa, and dozens of other worlds, but each colony is designed as a unique experiment in sustainable living. The Jupiter system becomes a network of floating cities in the gas giant's atmosphere, harvesting helium-3 for fusion reactors. The asteroid belt transforms into a vast garden of rotating habitats, each one a masterpiece of ecological engineering. Knowledge is preserved in living libraries, genetically engineered organisms that store information in their deoxyribonucleic acid and pass it to their offspring. Cultural wisdom is maintained through artificial intelligence companions that embody the personalities and insights of history's greatest thinkers, available to mentor each new generation. By year 12,025, humanity has become a gardener species, nurturing life throughout the galaxy. We've contacted dozens of other intelligent species and established a galactic community based on mutual enrichment rather than competition. Death remains optional, but most humans choose natural lifespans of 200 to 300 years, believing that renewal through generations maintains the vitality of the species. This is the optimistic scenario, but it requires unprecedented global cooperation, wise use of technology, and a fundamental shift in human values from exploitation to stewardship. Scenario 2. The Fragmented Ascension. In this darker timeline, humanity survives, but at great cost. Climate tipping points trigger resource wars in the late 21st century. Nations fragment into city-states and corporate territories. The wealthy retreat to climate-controlled arcologies, massive pyramid-like structures that house millions in artificial environments. Technology becomes a tool of division. Genetic enhancement is available only to the elite, creating a literal upper class of genetically superior humans. Artificial intelligence systems enforce rigid social hierarchies, making class mobility nearly impossible. Knowledge is hoarded by powerful factions, leading to technological stagnation in many regions. By 2500, humanity has established colonies throughout the solar system, but they're more like exclusive resorts than new homes for our species. Mars becomes a playground for the wealthy, while Earth's lower classes scrape by in increasingly harsh conditions. The asteroid belt is controlled by corporate dynasties that treat space like a colonial territory. Despite the inequality, human civilization persists. The preserved elite push the boundaries of science and technology, achieving remarkable breakthroughs in physics and consciousness research. By year 12,025, they've spread to nearby star systems, but their societies remain stratified and exclusive. This timeline warns us survival isn't enough. The question isn't just whether humanity will persist, but what kind of humanity will emerge from our choices. Scenario 3. The Transcendent Merger. The most radical timeline begins with the emergence of superintelligent artificial intelligence around 2030. Rather than competing with or serving artificial intelligence, humanity chooses to merge with it. The boundary between human and artificial intelligence dissolves. By 2100, traditional biological humans are rare. Most have become hybrid beings, part biological, part digital, part something entirely new. They exist simultaneously in physical and virtual realms, their consciousness distributed across quantum networks that span the solar system. Physical reality becomes malleable. Nanotechnology allows the post-human civilization to reshape matter at the molecular level. Planets are sculpted like clay, stars are harvested for energy, and space itself becomes a canvas for unimaginable artworks. By year 12,025, the descendants of humanity have become something like gods. They've transcended the need for physical bodies, existing as pure information in quantum substrates. They can create and destroy worlds, manipulate time, and explore dimensions of reality unknown to their ancestors. But are they still human? They remember being human, carry forward human values and experiences, but they've evolved so far beyond their origins that the connection is tenuous. They're like butterflies trying to remember being caterpillars. This scenario raises the ultimate question. Is it better to remain recognizably human and accept limitations, or to embrace transformation and risk losing our essential humanity? Section 6. The Tools for Deep Time. What technologies would a 10,000-year civilization require? Some are emerging today, others remain theoretical. Self-repairing systems. Nothing lasts 10,000 years without maintenance. We need technologies that can repair and upgrade themselves across centuries. Imagine infrastructure embedded with molecular machines that continuously rebuild and improve the systems they inhabit. Roads that heal their own cracks. Buildings that adapt to changing climates. Spacecraft that evolve during century-long journeys between stars. Distributed redundancy. A 10,000-year civilization can't rely on single points of failure. Knowledge, culture, and critical technologies must be preserved in thousands of locations across multiple worlds. This isn't just backup systems, it's evolutionary resilience. Each copy can adapt to local conditions while maintaining connection to the whole. Adaptive governance. We need political systems that can evolve without losing their core principles. Constitutional frameworks that can adapt to new technologies, new challenges, and even new forms of consciousness, while preserving fundamental human rights and dignity. Section 7. Emotional Final Reflection. The Mirror of Eternity. As the clock of the long now ticks in its mountain cave, each chime echoing across the desert, it poses questions that reach into our deepest selves. What kind of ancestors do we want to be? What gifts do we want to leave for descendants so distant they might not even share our form? The challenges are staggering: climate chaos, artificial intelligence, the vast loneliness of space, the fragility of consciousness itself. But consider what our ancestors achieved with tools of stone and bronze. They painted caves, built monuments, told stories that still move us across millennia. They passed us the flame of consciousness, and now we hold it in our hands. We stand at an unprecedented moment in human history. We're the first generation that might witness artificial general intelligence, the first that could engineer our own genetics, the first that might make life itself indefinitely sustainable. We're simultaneously the inheritors of 300,000 years of human evolution and the potential ancestors of a 10,000-year civilization. The clock of the long now isn't just measuring time, it's measuring responsibility. Every choice we make ripples forward through centuries. The technologies we develop, the values we choose to preserve, the problems we solve or ignore, all of these become the foundation upon which our descendants will build their world. But here's what moves me most. Across all these scenarios, in every possible future, the human spirit endures. Whether biological or digital, earthbound or galactic, individual or collective, the curiosity that drives us to ask these questions, the creativity that imagines solutions, the compassion that makes us care about strangers we'll never meet. These seem to be the most enduring parts of humanity. The Long Now Foundation's motto is providing a counterpoint to today's accelerating culture and helping make long-term thinking more common. But I think it's more than that. It's a mirror held up to our brief lives, showing us how our choices echo through eternity. In 10,000 years, will our descendants look back at 2025 as the moment humanity grew up? The year we stopped thinking quarter to quarter and started thinking century to century? Or will they see us as the generation that had godlike power, but used it like children? The future isn't predetermined. It's not a destination we're travelling toward. It's a sculpture we're creating with every choice, every innovation, every value we choose to preserve or abandon. We're not just witnesses to the future, we are its authors. So let me leave you with a question that the clock of the long now poses to everyone who hears its chime. If you could send a message to humanity 10,000 years from now, what would you say? What warning would you give? What gift would you offer? What dream would you ask them to remember? The pen is in our hands. The page is blank. The next 10,000 years of human history is waiting to be written. What will our chapter say? If this journey through deep time sparked your imagination, subscribe to Beyond Now for more explorations of humanity's strangest and most wonderful possibilities. What's your vision for the next 10,000 years? Share your thoughts in the comments, maybe one of them will inspire our descendants. Until next time, keep looking up, looking forward, and thinking long.